There is a behavior so common, so socially accepted, so deeply embedded in daily life that most people never question it. They do it at breakfast, they do it at work, they do it with friends, with family, with strangers online. And every single time they do it, they make their situation measurably worse. Not emotionally worse, not spiritually worse. Neurologically, chemically, structurally worse. The behavior is complaining, and what it's doing to your brain is not what you think. Most people think complaining is release, that venting reduces pressure, that saying what's wrong out loud somehow transfers the weight, lightens the load, creates space for something better. It feels that way. That's the trap. In 2013, researchers at Stanford University studied the neurological effects of repetitive negative verbalization, which is the clinical term for what happens in your brain when you complain. What they found contradicted everything most people assume. Complaining doesn't release stress, it rehearses it. Every time you articulate a problem without moving toward a solution, your brain doesn't file it under processed and resolved. It files it under confirmed and ongoing. The neural pathway associated with that problem gets stronger, more defined, more automatic. You don't think your way out of the complaint, you think your way deeper into it. And the more fluent you become at describing what's wrong, the more your brain prioritizes scanning for more of the same. This is not philosophy. This is how synaptic reinforcement works. Here's what makes this genuinely dangerous. Complaining feels productive. When you articulate a problem clearly, when you find the right words, when someone nods and says, "I totally get it," your brain releases a small amount of dopamine, the same chemical released when you actually solve a problem. So, your nervous system receives a reward signal without any change in your actual circumstances. The problem remains. The situation is identical, but your brain logged it as progress, which means you are less motivated to actually fix it. Not more, less. Every complaint that gets validated is a problem your brain deprioritizes for resolution. You vented, you felt heard, signal received, move on to the next thing. Except nothing moved, except you, deeper in. And here's what makes the quicksand metaphor more than poetic. In real quicksand, the instinctive response is to struggle, to fight, to move aggressively. And that struggling is exactly what accelerates the sinking. The more energy you put into the wrong response, the faster you go down. Complaining is identical. Every additional complaint is another movement in the wrong direction, and the ground keeps rising. In psychology, this is called co-rumination. It was first documented by researcher Amanda Rose in 2002 through studies on adolescent friendships, but its implications reach far beyond teenagers. Co-rumination is the process of mutually dwelling on problems without moving toward resolution. Two people or one person repeatedly revisiting the same issue, adding detail, seeking validation, building the narrative. Rose's research showed that co-rumination increases feelings of closeness and social connection, which is why it feels good. But it also dramatically increases anxiety, depression, and helplessness over time. You bond over the wound, and the bonding keeps the wound open. This is why certain friendships feel intimate but leave you feeling worse after every conversation. Why certain environments feel familiar but drain you in ways you can't fully explain. The shared language of complaint creates the illusion of depth while systematically dismantling the capacity for change. And here's the structural mechanism beneath all of it. The brain is a prediction machine. Its primary function is not to experience the present. It is to predict the future based on patterns from the past. Every time you complain about a recurring problem, you are feeding that prediction machine data. You are teaching it, this is the kind of world I live in. This is the kind of person I am. These are the kinds of things that happen to me. And the machine, efficient, obedient, relentless, builds your future accordingly.
Now here's where the logic shifts. Because the solution isn't silence. Suppressing problems doesn't resolve them. Pretending everything is fine doesn't rewire anything. Toxic positivity is just complaining with a smile. Same avoidance, different mask. The actual solution is specificity of direction. There is a neurological difference between two sentences that sound almost identical. This situation is wrong and it needs to change. And this situation is wrong, here is the first step toward changing it. The first sentence activates the brain's threat response system. It confirms the problem. It reinforces the pattern. It goes nowhere. The second sentence activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, execution, and forward motion. Same problem, completely different neurological response, completely different outcome over time. The shift isn't from negative to positive, it's from complaint to vector. A complaint is energy with no direction. A vector is the same energy, aimed. And aimed energy over time moves things. Unaimed energy just churns. Think about the things you complain about most. Not occasionally, the recurring ones. The ones you've been describing for months, maybe years. The job, the relationship, the circumstance, the system, the people. Now ask yourself one question and answer it honestly. Has the complaining changed any of it? Not venting once to process something new, the chronic, recurring patterned complaint about the same thing in the same words to the same people. Has it moved anything? If the answer is no, and it almost certainly is, then you are not venting, you are training. You are running a daily rehearsal of everything that's wrong, building neural infrastructure for a reality you claim to want to escape, and wondering why the exit never appears. The quicksand doesn't care about your frustration. It responds to physics. Struggle, sink faster. Go still, stop sinking. Move correctly, get out. There is no fourth option. And moving correctly means one thing only: redirecting the energy from description to direction. From here is what's wrong to here is what I'm doing about it, starting now. Not someday, not when circumstances improve, now. Because circumstances don't improve first, they improve in response to movement. That's the sequence. It has always been the sequence. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the product of your patterns. And the most dangerous pattern is the one that feels like communication, that feels like honesty, that feels like you're doing something, while everything stays exactly the same. Complaining is the most sophisticated form of standing still. It has the energy of action, the language of awareness, the social reward of connection, and it changes nothing. The people who actually change their lives are not the ones who articulate the problem best. They're the ones who got tired of describing it and decided to become the solution instead. That decision is available to you right now, in this moment. The quicksand is waiting, so is the solid ground. The difference between them is not distance, it's direction. If this hit differently than what you usually watch, that's what Mind Siege is built for. Subscribe. New video every week. No noise, no fluff. Just the mechanics of how your mind works and how to stop letting it work against you.